Bad writing. It's something that you see a lot more of these days. And when I say that, I don't mean the writing is bad in the things that we watch. You see people saying bad writing a lot. And I want your guys' perspective on this too, chat. It seems to me that it's become way more ubiquitous and common to see that in comment sections or tweets or whatever than it was even a year or 2 years ago.
I totally agree with you, but I never realized it until you said it. That is true. First thought, this is Drinker's doing. He's the guy that started coming up.
I'm actually just gonna type bad writing into YouTube. Okay, well, not too surprised by this one. So this is not planned, and of course this is going to be catered to my algorithm, which is going to have a lot of chuds. And Perp was correct.
That is correct.
At least partially. So She-Hulk, a lesson in terrible writing. It was 3 weeks ago. 3.7 million views.
This is unplanned, by the way. We did not
No.
talk about this or anything. That's awesome. Called it.
How to write better. That doesn't have a whole lot.
Okay, that's good. That's good. There he is. Chris Gore, the man. Yeah.
Lil Movie Perp says, is this where the salty fanboys hang out and complain about not being pandered to anymore? Are we salty fanboys? I don't know.
I think there are channels that do that better than us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, I don't care. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah.
How has writing gotten so bad in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
All right. It is possible, by the way. And, it's important to understand that you can say something is badly written and it not be like essentially a dog whistle. But I think you guys have probably seen that in a lot of the context, if you've seen the term thrown around, it's aimed at the exact same stuff that is called woke, as we look here, She-Hulk, bad writing,
terrible writing. And that guy wrote Jack Ryan.
And then this one just it's 4 years ago, but it's a little on the nose. Why SJWs are so bad at writing fiction.
Yeah, because all we want to do is talk about the issues, man. Every single comic book and movie scene is nothing but us bitching about the issues.
Oh, the quartering 3 days ago. Proof the end is near. I don't know what that's about. Probably just an advertisement for his coffee.
His woke coffee.
Oh, look at here. Man, you were more right. So a year ago, Shang-Chi, good ideas, bad writing.
Bad writing. Good ideas, bad writing. Bad writing.
And then Nutsa here, The Rise of Skywalker, but it's just lazy writing. I mean, I don't even know if I disagree with that.
It looks like it's a meme.
I don't think that I wouldn't describe the writing of Rise of Skywalker as lazy necessarily, just kind of
desperate.
It's a cluster. It seems like it really does strike me as a bunch of executive mandates. We need to have this to get people back on our side. We need to do this and this, it has to have this. And that's what it seems like to me. A lot of bad writing. I mean, really, the main one that we saw repeated was Critical Drinker, and I think a couple by Film Courage. So you want to talk about your experience with bad writing?
In what way?
I mean, any bad writing you've done or no, any bad writing that you've examples that you've seen, if you can think of generally of the claim of something being bad writing.
Well, on Reddit, I recently got into it with someone that said She-Hulk has bad writing. And it was, we got into it, and eventually it turns out they never even saw the show. So that's my experience with bad writing. It seems like the people that say bad writing, it's a buzzword now, I guess.
All right, so this isn't going to be too much different because it's it's our secondary channel, Live AF, which, I don't know why it's called that whenever we stream Live AF on here, but whatever. Whoever came up with this idea they're a bad writer. But it's basically the same. I mean, the first one to come up is that Critical Drinker. I get it. I get comments all the time. Like whenever we've talked about She-Hulk, in particular, that's what stands out recently, where we talk about all of the fan crap going on, and we talk about what the fandom menace is saying about, and then the bigotry around stuff and so on and so forth. And then I'll get inevitably a couple of people commenting saying, well, I just don't like it because it's bad writing.
I don't care what a bunch of losers say about me online.
Think about, what does that tell you? What do you take from that? If you just were trying to learn somebody's opinion based on, you're giving benefit of the doubt, and you're not just assuming that they're trolls or whatever. What can you discern from that phrase? It's an empty signifier.
And then when you press on, they haven't even watched the freaking show. I was so annoyed. I was there giving examples of what I liked about She-Hulk. Because a lot of times, if they do talk about bad writing, it's just dialogue. People seem to think like dialogue is all the writing, right?
Yeah. Well, and then they'll also, I've seen like basically they say plot holes sometimes, or what they perceive as plot holes. Because a lot of the examples that you see of people say, oh, it's a plot hole, is like, a guy says he's going to go do something, and then the scene cuts and he's at the place, and they're like, well, we didn't see him go there. There's something like that. Like clearly people that don't understand what a plot hole is.
I don't understand it.
So many legendary, iconic, beloved movies have what these guys, if they applied things consistently, would be considered a plot hole.
Shut up! Shut the up! Right.
What makes bad writing bad? The biggest mistake most writers make is thinking they have nothing left to learn. All right, that's fair. I think that's
deep,
a mistake.
Bro.
That's a mistake you can make in a lot of areas in life.
Yeah.
Bad writing is mainly boring writing. It can be boring because it is too confused or too logical, or boring because it is hysterical or lethargic, or boring because nothing really happens. If I give you a 400-page manuscript of unpublished novel, something that I consider to be badly written, you may read it to the end, but you will suffer as you do. It's possible that you've never had to read 80,000 words of bad writing. The friend of a friend's novel. I have on numerous occasions. If you ask around, I'm sure there'll be blah, blah, blah.
Drinker's friend.
Yeah. A novel by someone who has spent isolated years writing a book they are convinced is a great work of literature. And when you're reading it, you'll know it's bad. And you'll know what bad truly is. Bad writers continue to write badly because they have many reasons. In their view, very good reasons for writing in the way they do. They're bad because they cleave to the causes of writing badly.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
There's a lot of kind of badly written.
This is too meta for me, dude. This is way too meta.
It's almost always a love poem addressed to the self, by the self to the self, and that I get that. Yeah, so like self-indulgent, self-involved writing, it definitely tends to stand out. Like when you talk about The Room. Is a perfect example.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
Or Double Down.
My name is Aaron Brand. I was the first in my class in college in computer science. I joined the military and became a fighter pilot and won many medals for distinguished service. I'm now a covert agent, a mercenary for any nation that wants to control another. I can steal any car, anytime. I've been awarded every medal. The Medal of Honor, the Medal for Meritorious Service, Defense Meritorious, Joint Service Achievement, Armed Forces Purple Heart, Heroic Meritorious Achievement. And I've never been so proud of our troops, but I have no love to live for anymore.
I'm sure you've heard of The Room. Some of you
Everyone
probably
knows
heard
The
of
Room, yeah.
But Double Down is another one. What's that guy's name? I always forget.
Neil Breen.
Neil Breen, yeah. They're both examples, and there's a lot of them. If you ever watch Best of the Worst, they come across this a lot, where it's like a middle-aged guy who decides, like, I've never written or made a movie before, but I'm going to do it. And he gets the money together, and he just starts doing it with no experience in any of this stuff. And they write the script, they do the acting, they do the directing, and you end up with a pretty bad movie, often in entertaining ways, but like The Room. But I mean, it's not well written at all. It's entertaining because of how badly it's written.
Yeah.
And the reason it's so badly written is like it's just about him, and it's all from his singular perspective, and he was writing about things that he really felt at the time, and that's good to do. But like, if you don't step outside of yourself and write other perspectives into your characters, like a perfect example is in the first scene you see Johnny in The Room, right? When he goes into the flower shop.
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you.
How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
It's basically the line is written to lift him up and praise him, and it's like,
you're
just,
my favorite customer.
yeah, you're my favorite customer.
Yeah,
and it's
like all these like movies, and they're all like very ego driven. So like the Get Even is another famous one. Get Even, where like the guy's the funniest guy. So when he takes out a girl on a date, like the waiter knows who he is.
Yeah,
he's saying the funniest, say that joke again, man. And it's like everyone loves him. These, you know, they're usually kind of scummy because they usually like hire like young girls to be like the love interest, and they always have like you know, like love scenes with them, and it's really cringe. It's really like, it's hilarious too, but it's yeah, these are terrible movies, but they're
dope as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, they're entertaining, but just for like not the best reasons. You know, and this whole topic, by the way, does intersect with the idea of objectivity, subjectivity in art and filmmaking and so on. Because bad writing or bad anything when it comes to art may be referring to something that most people will agree is bad, but there's always the chance, and probably, you know, based on law of probability, there's probably some people that might completely disagree. You know, I mean, that's obvious when you talk about The Last Jedi, for example, how I fucking love it. I love it a lot. And then you've got all these other people that are clearly very triggered by it.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
And they hate it with a passion. That comes from different perspectives, which I've talked about on the channel before, that's what they really hate, is perspectives that are not their own, which often means non-white or non-cis, non-male, or at least just having those other perspectives in a movie that also has a white male perspective is too much for them. But that's it. To me, that reads as a lack of empathy and unwillingness to, you know, kind of, I guess, absorb the experience of other people when it's depicted or described. Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah, no, and Last Jedi, this is a special movie. This is a special one because this is the one that got me into this whole thing, got me, you know, open my eyes to what's going on, all that. It's also one that all the time I hear it's objectively bad. Like, it's a dude, no, like when I would like get into debates or whatever, they would say, no, dude, it's objectively bad. Like, you don't understand. You can't, like, there's nothing good about this movie. Like, that word objectively bad always comes up with Last Jedi. So I'm glad you brought it back to Last Jedi.
Here's the thing.
It's clobbering time.
To me, it's a compulsion to rationalize your preferences, your opinions, your subjectivity as fact, because, you know, I understand that, like, it's kind of human nature to struggle and feel defensive whenever you love something or love it or hate it or whatever, and then someone comes up with the opposite take on it, right? It's like it kind of rubs us the wrong way, and it takes basically emotional maturity to be able to accept that, oh, this person has a completely different lived experience than me. Their perspective is not like mine in a lot of ways. So, you know, I get that they took this from it, but I still fucking didn't like it or whatever. Or it could just be as simple as some people like a slow-paced kind of slow burn movie, right? And then other people might be like, that's way too slow. Takes too long for the plot to kick in. Yeah, is either one of them wrong? Not necessarily. You know, like, that's literally just two people that have different, and that's the other part that plays into this, expectations about what you're going to watch or read or whatever. If you go into something thinking, you know, it's going to be one thing and it's something completely different, you know, one of two things could happen. It could rub you the wrong way completely, or you could be pleasantly surprised that it did something that subverted your expectations. Yeah, and bringing it back to The Last Jedi, that happened with that for me, because I just expected kind of this is just going to basically be the sequel to The Force Awakens, kind of same vibe, same general direction of, you know, let's kind of copy the original trilogy. And it was not that. And I remember sitting in the theater at midnight watching The Last Jedi. I felt uncomfortable for a minute because I was challenged in a way I was not fucking expecting from a Star Wars movie. It was making me question all of these assumptions and ideas I've had about the Force and what it means, you know, all this stuff that I, like everybody, it's what the films had told us up until that point. And then it started deviating from that. And some people could handle it. Some people couldn't. And I think that's the distinction. I want to say that because I know there are people that just don't like the movie for reasons that are like the plot, and then like the casino scene ruins it for him or something like that. But Matt Jarbo, I know, fucking hates it. I've been trying to challenge him to a debate about it.
Hell yeah.
I think that'd be fun. Maybe do it for a charity or something. I don't know. But yeah, like just he hates it. He shits on it. I kind of troll him sometimes with how much I love it, and it's fun. We respect each other's differences there, even though we both passionately disagree on that subject. And then there are people that just feel so insecure, I think, that maybe that's simplistic, but they can't stand the idea of anyone thinking differently than them, and so they have to call it objective. But as I've said before, how is it objective if we disagree?
True.
Right?
Watch their head explode.
I mean, seriously, are you saying that people who disagree with an objective, what you claim to be an objective take on a movie, are they insane? Are they below intelligence level that's worth considering? What is it? Can you explain to me what about those people?
You just don't understand good writing.
Did they understand good writing? Because what it seems to me, when it comes to those types, and you know who we're talking about, and we're going to look at something in a minute, these YouTubers who try to use objectivity as their framework, it seems to me like they're post hoc rationalizing, they're basically their emotional and instinctive reactions to something, like didn't like Last Jedi because maybe did something that they didn't think Star Wars should do. Okay, fine. Generally. But then in hindsight, then they have to make 4-5 hour, videos, streams, talk, like basically just figuring out ways to justify this.
Who are we looking at? A Mauler.
I was 2,000 subscribers before The Last Jedi came out.